Welcome back. You're watching Citizen Live at 1. To some breaking news now. A team of neurosurgeons have successfully operated baby Satrin Osinya, who was shot in a terror attack in Likoni, and removed a bullet lodged in his head. We are now joined live on phone from the Kenyatta National Hospital by our very own Fiona Kenga with the latest on this developing story. Good news indeed, a successful operation on a baby who came to symbolize the gravity of the problem in terrorism in this country. When was this confirmed, Fiona?
It has been confirmed today, Janet. Thank you. And baby Satrin has successfully come out of a surgery that took close to 1 hour. A surgery that started at around 8:30 today in the morning, and the team of 7 doctors, 7 neurosurgeons were able to operate on baby Satrin, and they removed the bullet that was launched into his head, and they were able also to cover up all the wounds. And as we have confirmed is that baby Satrin is okay, and he is recovering from the neurosurgical unit.
All right, Fiona, do we know how or what the recovery time will be for baby Satrin Osinya?
Come again, please.
What will the recovery time be for baby Osinya?
Considering what the team of doctors has given at the press conference, is that baby Osinya is okay. He's recovering, and they're yet to feed him in the next 4 hours. They are now observing him, and also they're giving an appeal to Kenyans and also to the government to help in supporting the neurosurgery in the country.
All right.
Instead of going outside.
All right, Fiona, did they give you any details at all of the surgery? You know, any challenges they might have faced, anything at all?
The team is yet to give us details on how the surgery went. In the meantime, they're still addressing the press conference.
All right, Fiona.
And, we will keep an eye on the story, and we'll give you details as they come.
Thank you so much for that, Fiona Kenga, of course, joining us from the Kenyatta National Hospital. Great news. That bullet that was lodged in baby Satrin Osinya's head has been successfully removed. It's a developing story that we'll be following for you throughout the day. Now, a member of parliament wants tougher anti-corruption laws introduced in the country, including the death penalty for some graft suspects. Kiharu MP Irungu Kangata says corrupt people who swindle Kenyans of billions of shillings will face the death penalty if his proposed amendment to Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Act, Chapter 65 of Laws of Kenya is adopted by Parliament. Kibembolo reports.
Speaking during a free medical clinic in his constituency, Kiharu MP Irungu Kangata said that he has already sent a notice to the Speaker of the National Assembly to notify him of his intention to amend the current law. Kangata argues that corruption undermines development as it distorts resource allocation, diverting the funds to a personal gain of a few individuals and thus leading to a skewed distribution of income and wealth.
Presently, you find a person stealing billions of shillings. The effect of that corruption is children not going to school, children dying of hunger. You have hospitals without medicine because billions of shillings were misappropriated.
Kenya is still ranked among the most corrupt nations in the world, and amending of Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Act, Chapter 65 of Laws of Kenya, Kangata argues could actually be a remedy for corruption, as the law will make grand corruption punishable by death.
In the event one causes government to lose any sum beyond the sum of 1 billion shillings, that person should face the most punitive measure that we have in this country, which is death penalty.
Talking tough when launching the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission's 5-year strategic plan at the Kenyatta International Conference Center in Nairobi, President Uhuru Kenyatta said that the EACC Act and the Leadership and Integrity Act would be strengthened and a national policy on corruption drawn up to beef up the war on graft.
Corruption is to the economy and the nation at large what cancer is to the human body. It disgraces and debases a nation, and therefore we as a nation must agree that corruption must go.
Kibemburu, live at 1.
Police in Nyandarua have recovered 17 rounds of ammunition at a failed carjacking crime scene along the Nyahururu-Nyeri Road earlier this morning. Of course, around 4:30 a.m. today, 4 suspected robbers wearing police jackets flagged down a lorry heading towards Nyahururu. The driver of the lorry luckily noticed they were not officers and drove off immediately, prompting the criminals to shoot at the lorry.
Around 4:30 a.m. today, 4 suspected robbers wearing police jackets flagged down a lorry heading towards Nyahururu. The driver of the lorry luckily noticed that they were not officers and drove off immediately, prompting the criminals to shoot at the lorry.
Nobody was injured so far. It was by luck because the bullet went through the back door of the driver and the conductor. There were 2 in the lorry.
The drivers sped off to Marioinya police station to report the matter, and the police immediately went to the scene where they recovered the ammunitions.
This is 17 rounds of ammunition, which are usually used in G3 type of rifle. It is a very powerful firearm. So we are yet to investigate and to know exactly what was the motive.
Wamaita Shuru, Citizen at 1.
Top government officials, led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Olelenku, called on Marsabit County leaders to bring their warring communities together by preaching peace and cohesion. The leaders spoke as more security personnel were deployed to boost security in Moyale and the entire Marsabit County. This followed heavy interclan fighting that left several people dead and hundreds displaced in recent months. Michael Njenga was in Moyale and filed the following report.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Olelenku and his Principal Secretary Mutea Iringo summoned all leaders from Marsabit County to discuss peace and security in this region, where the sound of gunfire had for months and years become too common, symbolizing the lawlessness and bloodletting that has shattered the lives of many in this place. Though the guns have been silent for some time now, nothing was left to chance here, as security personnel strategically positioned themselves to deter any armed attack on the venue of the meeting. The leaders were here to assess the damage wreaked by the interclan violence that has rocked this region since August last year, in which dozens lost their lives and scores were injured, with property of unknown value destroyed. We visited some of the villages affected by the ethnic clashes, and the situation here is disheartening. Our first stop was at Funyata Primary School, which has been largely reduced to rubble. The few classes that are still standing clearly show that those who are here left in a huff, never to return. The last lesson was on the 7th of August. The residents tell us that since the fighting began, teachers and students at the school fled. Though the interclan fighting was widespread, the most affected area was Heilu village. Here, the aftermath of the fierce fighting is clearly evident. Many of the houses were burnt, and those that survived the wave of arson attacks had the few remaining structures demolished by the militiamen, turning the once lively village into a ghost town. The spent bullet cartridges on the ground are a clear indication of the magnitude of the attack by the gunmen. We met with Mama Sarah Mohammed, who returned to salvage whatever little she could from the skeleton of what used to be her home. The attackers looted everything at her home and destroyed what they couldn't take away.
Yuko bandi ya Ethiopia, unatoroka huko, hana nyumba, unalalanga tu nje hivi, unakata miti kidogo, alafu unaweka barangeti, sina lala huko ndani.
She and her family are now refugees in Ethiopia, where she says life is generally hard as they struggle to cope with little or no food and medication. Worse still, her children have been forced to drop out of school. Mama Sarah is not alone. Idris Abdi is also counting his losses as his house was reduced to rubble. He says he's lucky to be alive as some of the militiamen were baying for his blood.
Tarehe 28 mwezi wa 8 last year tulishambuliwa na mashifta hiyo shifta walitoka kutoka Ethiopia.
Though he's happy that the government has finally restored peace in the area, he hopes that more security personnel will be deployed to protect him and his family.
Well, we are right in the middle of a village known as Helu, and as we're told, this is where all hell broke loose. And as you can see, most of the homesteads you're going to, this is the kind of situation that we are finding.
Over 700 people were displaced and about 20 others lost their lives in the latest wave of clashes. Many of them fled to neighboring Ethiopia. Their only hope is that the Special Mediation Committee tasked with restoring peace in Moyale and the entire Marsabit County that is led by former Speaker Francis Ole Kaparo and Senator Yusuf Haji will help them to rebuild their lives. Tomorrow we will take a look at the genesis of the interclan clashes in Moyale and the way forward for the communities living in this volatile clash-hit region. Michael Njenga, Helu Village, Moyale, Marsabit County.
The Kenya Veterinary Board is to crack down on unregistered drugstores and non-professionals who are administering drugs in the local market. The board chairman, Joseph Omega, said the practice is posing a serious health threat to humans and livestock and one that surveillance will be enhanced to control the industry.
At the moment, we find that agrovets are manned by non-professionals. Anybody can open an agrovet and run it. Agrovets sometimes are even mixed up with other enterprises like hardware shops and even selling human food. We as veterinarians, we are very disappointed with this state of affairs because it is apparent that veterinary drugs are not properly handled.